Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another episode of Wake Up at 724, a student sports debate show where because of social distance and Corona and everything, we can't gather together literally to talk about sports, so we created an online show to do just that. Today's episode, the topic is going to be how COVID-19, Corona, social distancing, how all of that, while understanding the weight and the gravity and the sadness that has the impact that this has had on our world as we know it on so many different levels, but looking specifically, kind of looking away from that just for a moment and specifically looking at the sports world, how has Corona already impacted? How do we see it maybe in the future impacting? And even trying to get excited possibly about some of the things that might happen to the sports that we already know and love after we've gone through all of this. So excited to jump into this topic. We've got three expert panelists, sports anchors that have been waiting for this moment. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and then we're going to jump right in. So Griff, why don't you start us off?
Cool, I'm Griff, 724 alumni. Glad to be here, Russ. Glad to be here.
Now, this is a student show, so Griff, tell us how you are a student and how's that going?
Yeah, so I'm a student at Messiah University, college out in Harrisburg. You know, we have finals this week, so just wrapping up that and, doing good there.
Yep, and give us, since we don't have fancy technology to do any highlights or stats about you, what qualifies you to be on the show today?
Of course. In high school, I was a multi-sport athlete, varsity bowling captain. I also played a good bit of baseball. I'm an MLB expertise. I can name every team in the league, and that qualifies me as an expertise in that category.
Fantastic. Hey, you qualify in my book. Let's jump down to Spencer. Spencer, you've been on this show before. Love to have you back. Just tell the people who don't know yet know you. Who are you? Give us some credentials.
Spencer, big sports guy. Love to watch and play. Obviously a dominant athlete, if you can't tell by my appearance. I 5'10".
Just the neck up, I can tell.
Yeah. I know you can't see my body, but 5'10". So like Russ, I can't dunk. Not yet. Working on it. Quarantine gains. So don't sleep on me after quarantine ends.
All right. And last but not least, Andrew, a.k.a. Solster, a.k.a. Solman, rocking the bow tie. Introduce yourself, brother.
Yeah, hi guys. I'm Andrew. I'm a D3 soccer commit for Grove City men's soccer team. Really excited to play there, and I just love sports as a whole. So, Russ, I appreciate you having me on.
Hey man, I changed my background just for you, brother. Many people don't know that I actually own a soccer jersey, and in my prime, I was a varsity letter soccer player my senior year. So
there you go.
A little secret I keep, that. But hey, we're going to jump right into the show. Again, guys, thanks for being here. If you're tuning in, watching, all 12 of you, thanks for watching the show and keeping it going. And again, even if no one watches, the four of us are going to have fun here. So, guys, fellas, let's jump right in. As you look at everything that Corona is doing to the world and how it's impacting it, we could so get caught up in all the hardship and the brokenness and the death and just the way that it's impacting. And while that's all real, we're going to kind of pause that and just shift to sports, but ask kind of a real heartfelt question of looking at the professional sports. So we're talking, MLB, MLS, NBA, NFL, NHL. What did I miss? NBA? Did I say that one? Look, professional sports in general. Where do you guys see the biggest impact on those sports already with COVID-19?
I would say right now it would be either the NHL or the NBA, just because you missed the last part of the season and then the start of the postseason would have been right now. So missing that would have a huge impact just on the players and the sport itself, like viewers and stuff. Hopefully at a later date they can have that, but let's say that they don't and they're unable to do that before the start of the next season, then you lose an entire season pretty much, because who cares what the teams did the beginning half of the season if there's no postseason.
Yeah, that's a real take. Griff, what were you going to say?
Yeah, so I was going to say something right along those lines, and that's totally fair to say that like the NBA and the NHL are missing their postseasons. But I think right now the biggest impact is in the MLB, like with baseball, because right now it's looking like they haven't even started their season. They might not even have any season this year. So at least for those the NBA teams, the NHL teams, they had some 2020 season. But for the baseball teams, it's looking like they might not have a season whatsoever. And baseball is not a sport that you can play in the winter time if it comes around and push the season back. Like NBA, we can play indoors. NHL, we can play indoors. Baseball, it's summertime or nothing, you know?
Yeah, that's a real thing. But even looking at the NBA and Solster, we'll get to you. When they talked about when the season could possibly start back up, hockey players and basketball players have already said they need weeks to recondition and get back into the groove of things. And we've played all these sports. I do think that baseball is on a different level. Hockey's on a different level of conditioning. I would argue more than NBA. NBA you can kind of go a little bit, but baseball players, they take months to get into that routine, months to get their bodies ready. So yeah, I feel you. Solster, where are you at? What professional sport are you seeing right now impacted the most?
I mean, I'm kind of biased with this, but soccer definitely. The UEFA Champions League, the final there was supposed to be on May 3rd, but unfortunately that's not happening anymore. It stinks. It's one of the best live sporting events ever. So I just know that it's impacting a lot of the players as well as the fans. But I hope that we'll be able to see that at some point in the near future.
Yeah. What when you think of the impact right now, who fan base across the United States, what fan base do you think is hurting the most? Like if you had to sympathize, put away your personal opinion and thoughts and try to be empathetic and understanding here, what fan base right now are you mourning the most for?
I got to say the NBA fan base, there's just a lot of energy there with basketball and just the inside sport of it itself. The environment's crazy, and I just think that them not being able to have that postseason is pretty devastating to them.
Okay, would you guys argue or agree?
I have to agree with that. That was my initial thought too. Just because so much, like basketball fans put so much into this season in particular, with the Warriors just being absolute crap. Like there was an actual shot of some upsets in the great postseason. That's just not going to happen. And I know fans were really looking forward to that.
Yeah. It's kind of like the fact that the Patriots are without Tom Brady this year. The NFL season doesn't happen. It's like, come on, we finally have our chance, especially being a Miami Dolphins fan. The Warriors finally sucked, and yet they might get away with, not even having to deal with it. Spence, anything that you would agree or disagree with?
Yeah, I would agree with that NBA, just because it seems like in the U.S. so many people, like NBA seems to be the sport now during that time of year. I think it's NFL and NBA in the U.S. So just being so popular and then the postseason getting canceled this year is tough for all the fans, I feel like.
Yeah. There's an episode that we're gonna dive into later down the road where we're gonna look at which sports team. I know, Griff, you're slated to be on that show. Which Pittsburgh sports team means the most to the city? Really excited for that one. I think we're going to cause a lot of debate there. But just you guys, as we talk about this, out of the three sports, the Penguins, the Pirates, and the Steelers, Pittsburgh isn't an NBA city. It's really not a basketball culture per se. That could be debated, but specifically in the city of Pittsburgh, where do you think the most impact has been sports-wise? With Pirates not being able to happen, the Steelers might not be able to happen, and the Penguins being shut down. Which would you say is hurting Pittsburgh right now the most?
I was gonna say the Penguins, just mainly because obviously the postseason and everything. The Penguins are just a legendary team in the city, and the fans not being able to have that postseason feeling, the feeling that, the Penguins might be able to win the Stanley Cup. Obviously, this year is a little bit debatable, but in past years we've done really well, and this year could have been the same. So just the fans not being able to have that sensation, that feeling of being able to go to a postseason game in PPG Paints Arena is just unfortunate.
Yeah, I would say the Pens as well, just because it's the postseason and they've been so popular the last, actually my entire life for Pittsburgh. So just being so popular, them and the Steelers. But since it's not during the NFL season right now, I'd say it was the Pens over the Steelers. And with the Pirates not being so well over the past couple of years, like still have fans and such, but I think it's just less of an impact for MLB in Pittsburgh than it is for the NHL.
All right. Hard take there. Griff, do you agree?
Yeah, I think it's entirely situational. Looking at like the season that we're in right now, just considering that the NFL, that nothing has been affected with it right now, like the Steelers have no impact. But if this continues into the fall, absolutely the city is going to be devastated the most about the Steelers not having any games. And considering that the Pirates are just hot garbage right now.
Hey,
like
that's a real take right there. I couldn't agree more with you.
Yeah, I mean, just considering how poorly they've been, I don't think anyone's terribly, mad that the Pirate season's not taking off, at least right now. Now, come summertime, when school's not going on, everyone's sitting around their house, people are going to miss the bad Pirates to go down and spend $10 on tickets for, to go to a game.
$10? Where are you sitting, front row?
Left field bleachers, man. Left field bleachers. That's what I'm saying. The Pirates being bad is a good thing because it means cheap tickets.
That's right.
And that's going to hurt in the summertime when, Pens are going to be kind of in the past and people are really going to be mourning the Pirates season because, there's nothing to look forward to there. But I do agree at this point right now, the Penguins are the hardest hit because they had a chance at a postseason run that just didn't happen.
Yeah, I feel you there. So one of the things that Corona has caused all of us to do, whether, you're working, you're a student, you got a family, it doesn't matter. All of us have been forced to social distance and adapt to a new lifestyle where most of the stuff that we're experiencing is at home, online. Technology is ramping up, trying to keep things going. And in some of that, especially family life as students, with online classes and work from home mentality, we're actually learning some things that have been beneficial and realizing things that, hey, we need to sort of rebrand ourselves when we're allowed to go back, figure out what matters, how are we going to do it, what lessons have we learned through this that we need to bring into and adapt what used to be to this new way of life, and kind of get a little bit excited about that. When you think that and add sports to that, what things are you guys hoping gets implemented into which sport, and tell us about that. What would you be really excited about if sports took the time and rebranded themselves and offered this product, or what would your experience be like, or how could it change? What are your guys' thoughts there? How can you see this maybe as a positive down the road for whatever sport we're talking about here professionally?
The first thing that comes to my mind is something they talked about with the possibility of them having sporting events, but with no spectators. And that's just simply putting microphones on the players and hearing what they're saying throughout the games across any sport. That would just be amazing. Just to hear like the trash talk that goes on the NBA court that you can't hear when you're in the stands or watching.
So would sports have to now have that like rapper explicit content warning before every single, because you know that's going to happen.
Oh, for sure. I mean, maybe there's some type of censorship on it that they can put on.
Maybe like the have you guys been watching the Bulls documentary? ESPN has the unedited version. ESPN2 has the we bleep out every time Michael Jordan says the F word. Maybe it's something like that,
Yeah.
But I like it. What else? What maybe are you guys hoping for, or hey, this would be awesome if sports went this road?
Well, for me, it's not really something that the sports would change, but for Pittsburgh, maybe like the beginning of the Pirate season does get delayed and then they are able to start it. And I don't know, going down to a game, maybe seeing a sellout crowd for the first time in so long would be kind of cool, because fans would be missing it so much that just bringing so many people to a game finally, maybe missing the first half of the season would bump up the viewership for the Pirates. I mean, I don't know if that would happen, but that would be pretty cool to see that again.
Seems very unlikely, and it's sad that it took a pandemic to sell out a Pirates stadium. So just saying, just saying. Solster, what are you most excited about or would love to see this take place?
I didn't really come up with anything that I wanted to see take place. I just came up with something more in general, and I think that's just the fans' new appreciation for the game, because I know that with it being gone, it's going to seem like something that we need, that we want, and with that time in between us seeing a game and then until the next game that happens, it's going to be a real wake-up call for the fans, and I think it's going to bring them into the game even more. I got a quote from LeBron. He said, I ain't playing, that's who I play for. So he was talking about the fans in that one. He said that in an interview about a month ago, and just the fans being such an integral part of each game and the environment that it's played in, I think it's just going to bring a whole new love to the sport that we all know. So.
Yeah, part of my hopes would be is somehow they would get rid of the cost for like NBA networks, NFL, whatever it's NFL Network, Red Zone, and just start offering all those for free, because if we can't access it literally, give us as much access in our homes. I would, because, again, like Pittsburgh isn't a NBA thing. So, and for someone like me, I'm a fan of the Cubs, the Dolphins, the Pistons. Like, I don't like local sports teams, and so I never get a chance to watch them. So if somehow this creates a free access to all these games, I would love that. I could see it going both ways there. So that would be one thing. Here, let's play devil's advocate a little bit here. What's something that you're really scared might happen to sports or a specific professional sport because of the aftermath? Like, how would it change a season that you're used to, or playoffs, or what is something that you're scared about and don't want to see happen besides the seasons not happening? Anything there?
Just with the example you said about like the league passes and the TV providers, I'm afraid they could take advantage of the fact that they're the only outlet to watch those, and they could amp up the prices on that if it's not regulated.
Definitely, I would definitely see them bumping up just because it's a great opportunity for them to make money, and I just see them doing that. But I don't know, not having fans in the stadium would kind of be a bummer. If they continued like that, that would be a little bit of a bummer. But it would also be kind of cool to see, like what you said, if you could hear the players. I was excited for that with March Madness and like the Big Ten tournament and stuff when they had announced that they would play it without fans, because I thought you'd be able to hear them, but then it got canceled, so we weren't able to see that. But I think that'd be cool.
Well, let's drop to college level now. Griff, you're already in college. Spencer and Solster, you're getting ready to head off to college. When you look at college sports, obviously the huge monsters are, college basketball, college football, but then you add every other college sport into that mix, whether it is soccer, swimming, track, like volleyball. How have you already seen the impact on college sports? And then feel free to answer what we've talked about on the professional level. What is something you would see that would be really cool if they shifted? What's something you're really scared if they shift to? How have you seen this playing out in the college level?
Yes, I mean, definitely just a huge thing is college seniors. Obviously, high school seniors are really impacted by this as well, but college seniors as well, just because of spring seasons being canceled and just the camaraderie that they've built up over these past few years with their teammates, and just being and just losing that really stinks. But something I would love to see once this all comes back is maybe more of a tournament system, or more tournaments in general. Tournaments are just a really fun part of every game. It's a time where really the competition comes into focus, and just like March Madness, I think that would be really cool to see in other spring sports as well.
I love the idea of more tournaments. I even know, and I know we've moved to college, but the NBA talked about putting a tournament right in the middle of the season to create more excitement and entertainment there. So I think you're onto something there,
Yeah.
Solster.
So the first thing that comes to my mind as far as the college, and Solster mentioned the seniors, the first thing that comes to my mind is if they deserve another year of eligibility with missing an entire season. Like, you think of a college football player, if the season doesn't happen, they should be able to play one more year at that school, they should get another year. In my mind, they should get another year of eligibility, but that would raise a lot of conflict.
Yeah, I mean, immediately, what if as a freshman you were recruited because they knew senior A was leaving, but now senior A is staying? What does that do to you as a freshman, the spot that you had, what you were promised? What will that mean? Are we going to see a lot of senior or freshmen decommitting? Maybe, like you're seeing in the NBA, players aren't even choosing to play college now. They're just going to the G League. They're going overseas. I see a huge shift there, regardless of what happens in college. But I think you are onto something there.
Yeah. Didn't they already grant another year of eligibility to spring sports?
Yes.
Okay, so there aren't that many spring sports that I would watch for college. Maybe baseball, the Baseball World Series. But I could see people who like those and the players themselves. I think it'll be a lot more competitive next year, just because bringing back another class of seniors, like you'll be another year older, so it could be really competitive.
Let's just quickly for a minute talk specifically college football, because that's the next thing that's really going to somehow get impacted. What's the biggest shock factor for you guys if college football isn't able to happen?
I think it has to impact the draft the most. Like, how do you draft a player off of 2 years ago's performance? How do you know if this guy's just been sitting on his butt this entire time or actually working? Like, how does a team draft someone?
Yeah. Well, hey, not to leave college real quick, but if there's no college football, chances are there's no NFL. If there's no NFL, how do you even have an NFL draft order? And one of the things that keeps getting brought up is like, are there now 2 classes of rookies battling for Rookie of the Year? That's not fair. But anyways, back to college. I agree with you, Griff. What Spencer or Solster, biggest impact for no college football?
I definitely think student life is a huge one. Obviously, many colleges are known for their football. They're known for their college towns and just that sense of camaraderie with the entire college. So I think that's going to be definitely impacted. As I know at Penn State, whenever it's a football weekend, I mean, the campus is packed. There's a ton of partying going on. And I mean, even though it might not be the greatest thing to see, it's still just a great time for all the students there. And I think that would just take a big part of their college life away in the fall.
I could not agree more. I mean, there's some students that pick a school that has nothing to do with if it offers the major they want, if they're academically, makes sense, or they're playing for, it's literally, they just want to go there because that's been their favorite team. They want to see them play football, and they made this commitment, paid all this money, and it's like, sorry, no sport this year.
I would just say with scholarships, because
scholarships.
Yeah, if like players are gonna miss that year and get another year of eligibility, how much scholarships are available for incoming freshmen, and will the NCAA grant more, just to see how many they can deal with that scholarship amount.
Man, that is a great take. Griff, what are you gonna say?
Yeah, and just to add on to that, Spencer, like a lot of these colleges are going to be taking hits in their tuition if the coronavirus has people staying at home and not on campus. And, a lot of college scholarships, come from the money that's raised by the sports program, the tickets they sell and everything. But a lot of the money also comes from the school, and you can't really, calculate the number of scholarships you're going to give out if your tuition income is, varied. You don't know what that's going to look like.
Well, and, these major colleges, the football income pays for 95% of the other sports that they offer. So what happens when there's no money coming in to pay for all these other programs? That's a scary thing to think about, and I'm sure has colleges going crazy right now.
I'm sure it's just a financial mess, just in general.
Yeah.
So speaking of impact on people, let's say that we get the green light, whether it happens tomorrow, a month from now, 3 months from now, and seasons are able to happen. What's your prediction of how the public will respond to being able to go to these huge gathering, PNC Park, Heinz Field, what's the hockey, PPG Paint.
PPG.
You know, what's your prediction as Pittsburgh and as a country that we will respond?
There's going to be two reactions, I think. One of them is going to be the huge sports fans who are just so thrilled they can go back, and they're just going to rush into it, and there'll be a bunch of the true fans that are really into it, and they'll just go back to it. And then there will be some people that are scared, and they just don't think it's worth the risk to still get coronavirus, so they'll just stay home and watch it on TV, and they won't want to go out to a stadium and risk getting coronavirus.
I see that, Spencer, but I think the wide majority is going to be aching to get out there, and I think there'll be a ton of people. I think it'll be packed.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
PNC will sold out.
I want to see PNC Park sold out for a Pirates home opener.
Yeah.
Well, that already passed, so there was no one there. No one showed up. They thought it was a normal day.
I had my tickets for us. I was leaving school early. I was ready.
So, let's play a fun game. You guys just made your case that there's two people. Spencer, you called them true fans. Here we are on a sports debate show where we're saying we have credentials as huge fans. Which person are you? The gates are open. Are you sprinting in, risking it all? Or are you saying, I'm going to sit back and watch it on my nice TV with my free snacks and enjoy it from the comfort and safety of my home? What are you guys?
So what will happen to me is I'll try and be there. Depends what mom says. If mom says, yeah, that's cool, you can go, I'm like, I'm there. But if mom says you can't go, I can't go.
So you're there with limitations. All right, Griff Solster, where are you at?
I'm there.
Yeah, I'm there 100%. I mean, even this morning, with golf courses opening back up, I was actually at the driving range this morning at 9:40 a.m. right before it opened because I just wanted to get back out there and hit some balls. So, yeah, I'm definitely a fan that wants to get in there and experience it.
Solster, I had no idea that you golfed. That's good to know. I'm more of a putt fan myself. Now, what about Solster, Griff? Mommy says no. Are you still going?
Sorry, Mom.
Yeah, I meant to say sorry as well. I just want to get out there.
That's risky. That's risky. That's a scary thought. I've seen your mom, Solster. I don't know if I want to make.
Oh my.
So,
Tina would not be happy.
All right, let's have another fun show your true colors question here. All right, the effects of Corona are so great that they can only allow one professional sport to come back. The rest are done for the 2020. What is that one sport for you? Now, you have to think selfishly. You have to think globally. City of Pittsburgh. What is that sport that you say, I give this the green light and the rest are no more?
It's easy. It's easy for me, and that's the MLB. That's selfishly, but there's good reasons behind it. Number one, the entire season is played in the summertime in the 2020 season. You can't say that for the other ones. You know, like you have some part of the season partially. I don't know, but MLB, you're gonna have a full season in there. Number two, there are just so many MLB games that get played. 160 games in a season. That's a lot of sports to watch. A lot of games to watch. You know, you don't have
who
that
wants to watch 160 baseball games, especially if we can't watch them in person?
America will watch it, man. It's the only thing. It's the only thing out there they're gonna watch. They're gonna be aching.
America's sport.
America's pastime.
Yeah, exactly. Pass the time. Let's go to something else. All right, Solster, Spence, what is it for you and why?
I mean, I definitely gotta go with the World Series of Poker. I mean, it's so electrifying, and I mean, you just got to get back out there. You got to have the people sitting around the table, chips flying, money's going in. It's great. It's great.
It's a take I didn't see coming, but I respect it. Spencer?
All right, I see what Griffin's saying with baseball, but I don't know. After a month of games every day, I don't think I'm too into it with how bad the Pirates would be. I can't see a whole year without football. That's tough. I think you got to bring the NFL. It's hard to go a whole year without football.
Listen, Spence, I agree with you. It is, you know, I would say NFL hands down, just because I think NFL has now become America's pastime. You look at ratings, you look at, even the NFL is about to be playing games almost every day of the week anyways. Plus, if you look at, for me, MLB would have to change so much about who they are if they became this. Because, like, right now, MLB controls all media outlets. Like, they say what goes and doesn't go. NFL is just like, whatever you want to do, It's why people don't recognize the top 10 baseball players in the MLB, but they know who the third string guard is of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that would be hard, and I just don't see, as much of an NBA fan as I am, I would say NFL hands down is my vote, and I know that there's argument there. Before we run out of time, any thoughts? Do you care at all? Does it affect you at all? Were you heartbroken when the Olympics, because of Corona, were canceled?
Yeah, you're obviously disappointed about it. Like, I'm not sure too many people are like waiting, for the Olympics. But it's one of those things.
They have to be waiting 4 years. I mean,
I get that. But it is one of those special things. So, I think everyone's disappointed in it, but also it'll be there next year. It's not like a yearly annual thing that you're expecting to happen. It's more of like the Olympics are going on this year. Cool.
You just made some viewers upset, Spence.
Yeah. I'm not heartbroken the Olympics don't happen, Like, if it's on, I'll watch it because it's pretty cool to see them. But for those athletes, I think you got to feel bad the most for them, just because it's so rare, and every 4 years, like you said, it's just, I think it's so much harder to be an Olympic athlete than any other sport, really. You could debate that, but I'm not really dying to watch the Olympics every 4 years. So as a viewer, not really that sad, but you got to feel bad for the athletes.
Well, you've heard it here first. That's been our show. We're out of time. I want to thank you for watching another episode of Wake Up at 724. I want to thank my host. It's been a pleasure. Great to see you guys. Have a great time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again in our next episode.
Thanks for having us, Russ.